To also enter into the record a screenshot of a text message I received from the esteemed professor from Vanderbilt, Eric Dyson, after my CNN interview, begged me for photos. In this text, he says, after calling me racist on CNN, shh, don't tell anybody, we look good together, and sent me a kissy emoji.
Without objection.
The guy says I'm gorgeous in all these photos. I don't think he's that bent out of shape on how anyone pronounces Kamala.
Hi, my name is Akeem, and I am the founder, chairman, CEO, president, vice president, and the dean of Ran-DomU University. We offer a vast variety of courses, everything from psychology of the fake alpha male to cringe studies to pause 101. Now, if you're interested in joining this university, please call or text the number on the screen at 1555 Ran-DomU. Are you ready? I'm sad today. Yeah, I'm real sad. Another beige bro has bit the dust. Yeah, not in the sense that he's literally died or anything like that, or we have to bury him in an 8x6 casket and have the whole funeral service and the whole shebang. Luckily, it's not that drastic. But Dr. Eric Dyson, yes, this man that you see on the screen here today has taken a massive L. Truly embarrassing. Hurt himself and the whole yellow skin community. Though we do blend in with the black community, there is a certain segment, I guess, of us that are isolated. We're viewed differently. We're judged differently. And, you know, we're looked at through a different lens. And Dr. Eric Dyson is definitely one of those blackity blacks. One of those blackity blacks that loves to cape for black causes, and especially for black women. He is one of those who definitely would come off as a simp nowadays. Now, I don't like to look at people like that because this guy is very nuanced, very versed in his words. This man is a walking thesaurus, truly. But the problem with Dr. Eric Dyson is that he gives off a lot of Dr. Umar-ish vibes. You know, he reeks of a lot of grifting. Yes, it reeks of a lot of grift. And, you know, that means he pretty much reeks of Sneeko, you know, and that's what I imagine what grifting smells like. It smells like Sneeko. And anything that smells like Sneeko is nothing to be messed with. So if Dr. Eric Dyson is going down those routes, that means this is something that we need to talk about. And it's really sad because this is a man that I highly respected. I have one of his books, and this is a man who has written a lot of books. He's got a long and very extensive category of books. I mean, a long catalog. It's a lot of history, you know what I'm saying? American history, black history. And yeah, he's one of those people who can recite scripture, you know, to you, or, you know, American history facts like he's reading off a teleprompter. And those people I do not trust. I don't know about you, and don't worry, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. I'm about to get to the video, but please leave down in the comments, are those people that you trust? Anybody who can recite something like they're literally reading it at all times.
For those of you who have heard similar viewpoints espoused by similar people, let me tell you this. That kind of lethal ignorance, that kind of viewpoint that disparages black people, number one. That condescends and talks down to us, number two. That draws specious, spurious parallels between white racism and black racism. Racism presupposes the ability to control a significant segment of the population economically, politically, and socially by imposing law, covenant, and restriction on their lives. Black people ain't had no capacity to do that. Can we be bigoted? Yes. Can we be prejudiced? Yes. Racist? No. The unintelligence of the formulation is problematic when any black person says that. Number three, when black people began to spew this notion that 96% of black people are racist because we vote for a black candidate, suggests that all white people who vote for all white candidates are therefore also unavoidably racist. By that logic, everybody in the world is racist and it balances out, doesn't it? It makes no sense. It is illogical and irrational to its core. What we see when we hear these kinds of comments are lethal self-hatred, the denial of the humanity to black people that we see reflected in the dominant white society, refracted through the prism of our own black lives. Unmolested by enlightenment, such people are peripatetic, that is, walking around virtuous, not in terms of their virtue, but virtual expressions of degraded self-hatred. I feel sorry. I feel horrible when I'm in the presence of such mean-speaking, ignorance-spewing, incredibly cantankerous viewpoints that don't honor the integrity, the beauty, the diversity, the complexity, and the wondrous, rapturous intelligence of black people. That's why I hang with black folk all the time, because I know better than that. You heard?
I don't know. I always found something really untrustworthy about that, and that has always bothered me. So now this man has joined the likes of Drake and Crash Out Brandon Jamal and Cuba Gooding Jr. and TJ Holmes, Will Smith, hell, DJ Envy of all people, Angela Rye, Angela Simmons, hell, Ice Spice, and America's most infamously lost and delusional, psychopathic, arrogant sociopath, Amanda Seales. This is the category of people he is now thrown himself into. Now, I'm not sure where this ranks on the tiers of delusion yet, because it ranks pretty high up there. And I've been really thinking about debating moving the Fresh and Fit fans, because boy, I don't know, they might be more delusional than Disney at this point, and that is tough to do. But damn, I mean, Fresh and Fit fans are lost. And I do sniff another feature coming when it comes to Fresh and Fit. They've had a lot of news come out, and I feel like making another video on that. And also have another confession. My birthday was the other day, and for that, I feel like I need to address something with all of y'all in that feature video that I will be releasing eventually. And, you know, look forward to it. But anyway, once again, hit the bell, hit the buttons, and we're going to get into this video.
For the humanity of black people.
So now you're calling me racist.
I didn't say. I just said you weren't a racist.
That is complete.
No, you don't have to intend racism to
No. You are intending that
your disrespect of Kamala Harris is part and parcel of a traditional disrespect.
It's offensive,
Congresswoman.
And it's
why can't you just?
offensive.
I'm not calling you a racist. I'm saying what the practice is racist.
You are. You absolutely are.
Let me get. No, what's disgusting is your disrespect of her,
Professor. So I don't want to hear it. It's fake outrage. I would like to also enter into the record a screenshot of a text message I received from the esteemed professor from Vanderbilt, Eric Dyson, after my CNN interview, begged me for photos. In this text, he says, after calling me racist on CNN, shh, don't tell anybody, we look good together, and sent me a kissy emoji.
First off, shout out to Pink Book Lesson. She be putting out some amazing content. Feel free to subscribe to her channel. If you want to think about some things, definitely view some of her videos. But I also want to give her a shout out to the very sinister and dark themed music that she played in the background of this opening that she had over here on her channel, as I like to do the same thing in some similar videos of mine. But today we're going to definitely be talking about Dr. Michael Eric Dyson and this situation that he had where it started on CNN. That's where this saga begins, and that's where we're going to start this video.
Well, if you want to talk about misinformation, we can talk about Kamala Harris's Google ads, like literally taking headlines from mainstream media and rewriting them, which should be against Google ads policies. And to date, more than 3 weeks in, Kamala Harris hasn't given a single interview. She hasn't come on your program. She's not answering questions.
It's Kamala, first of all. It's not Kamala. It's Kamala. And she's not yet the candidate. She's only been in office, only been a candidate for 3.5 weeks.
She's been vice president for 3.5 years.
Yeah, and Trump went a whole...
She's aided and abetted by mainstream media. If you saw the headline by a neighboring network a couple weeks ago, when Donald Trump came out with his no taxes on tips policy, all of the headlines on mainstream media were derogatory. Kamala Harris comes out with her no taxes.
Kamala
Harris comes out with her policies on no taxes on tips, which is Donald Trump's policy, by the way.
Now, not to overly cape up for this woman, but I hear people call Kamala all the time, especially here in the South, and especially mostly by black people. It's not like she called her Camilla or something that didn't sound anything close to it.
All of the headlines on mainstream media were positive and glorious and thoughtful.
I guess y'all are standing up for him because he didn't say any of this today. Well, everything you're saying is nothing he's ever said.
One of the things that we learned about her policy that she's going to roll out is support for a ban on price gouging. Mm-hmm. Now, I think reasonable people would ask, what does that mean? What does that really mean? And how is the government going to be involved in it? Here's Noah Rothman in the National Review. He describes this policy as a rank pander to the economically illiterate. And despite the presence of many who fit that description in Congress.
Now, I understand some of you may be listening or watching this right now and wondering, when does the doctor come in and make an ass of himself? Well, I guarantee you it's going to be very soon.
Mm-hmm. They understand that allowing the executive branch to functionally set prices is a brain-dead idea that would only hurt consumers in the long run. I mean, is this just a ploy? Because it sounds kind of like it.
Well, look, if you like it, it's called good policy. If you don't like it, you call it pandering.
But is it really policy? I mean, price gouging?
Look, if she could do that, Lord have mercy. I mean, she might need to be the Pope as opposed to the president, but she's able at least to set the tone. Here's what's important.
Now, the intellectual doctor uses his intelligence to be very quick-witted, which makes him very entertaining and highly interesting to listen to, but that is not the point today.
First of all, in terms of Kamala not speaking about, Vice President Harris speaking about issues, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I don't know if you heard that or not, but he almost said Kamala.
Kamala's.
You almost got it.
I will say Kamala's name any way that I want to.
No,
but
you mispronounce her. You also misjudge her.
Now, this is the point where she misstepped a little bit. You don't just come out and say, I'm going to say somebody's name however way I want to say it. No, F that. Nobody just chooses to say your name whatever type of way. They try to be respectful and say yours properly. Yes, yours is a very simple name to say, but they could screw it up, even how simple it is. So don't go there with that kind of mess. That's unnecessary. Once you start hitting people with this type of energy, you just start coming off as a complete cunt.
Purposely mispronouncing her name.
That's what we refuse to acknowledge her humanity.
If I purposely mispronounce your name, that would not be appropriate.
Policies are Joe Biden's policies.
Now, these are just clips of this conversation, but they are in chronological order. So you're going to see this slowly deteriorate into something that's absolutely ridiculous.
She owns it.
You're normalizing that kind of viciousness, man.
33 times.
But it's the
she was the deciding vote.
She was the vice
on
president
Joe Biden's bills. She was 33 times the deciding vote on Joe Biden's bills in the Senate.
Let me just say this, because this Congresswoman is a wonderful human being, but when you disrespect Kamala Harris by saying you will call her whatever you want, I know you don't intend it to be that way. That's the history and legacy of white disregard for the humanity of black people.
So now you're calling me racist.
I didn't say. I just said you weren't a racist.
That is complete.
Now, at this point in time, she's gaslighting. But unfortunately, the doc takes the bait. He decides he's going to join the Diddy party, get oiled up, and instantly ignites and bursts into flames.
You don't have to intend racism to accomplish it.
You are intending that
your disrespect of Kamala Harris is part and parcel of a tradition of disrespect.
Why can't you just, Congresswoman? Why can't you just?
I'm not calling you a racist. I'm saying what the practice is racist.
You are. You absolutely are.
This is a room full of adults, and they're all taking L's right now because nobody's being the bigger adults. Just calming down and having a normal conversation. This is on national television. This is on CNN. But unfortunately, all these people decide they're going to take the immature route, go ahead and be petty, and dig into things that are irrelevant instead of addressing the things in the conversation that they need to. Now this conversation has dissolved into a petty argument between family members that is no longer productive.
No, what's disgusting is your disrespect of her.
Professor,
this gentleman said, I didn't know her name. He's trying to do it.
Is her disrespect of women. She doesn't know what a woman is. And if 25 years ago,
white women don't have the ability to tell black women who paid the price of blood to make this country what it is to tell them they're not real women.
Come on, Doc. That is not what she's talking about. That is just historical rage bait. She is literally talking about what is a woman. You know, the whole hard leftist type of movement where, you know, identity is, well, very questionable nowadays.
25 years ago, I became the first woman to graduate from the Citadel, the Military College of South Carolina. I fought my way through it.
So pronounce her name right.
Let me actually pronounce her name right. Kamala Harris. If I were a man,
you said
I would say
Nancy
Nancy.
It's Kamala. You're doing this on purpose, Congresswoman.
Disrespectful.
You can't expect people to respect your service if you don't respect her.
And walked that stage 25 years ago, she would have said it. She would have taken that achievement away from women. That's disgusting.
You're right. She's definitely trolling you at this point in time. She's gotten you pissed off. She's gotten you heightened in emotion, and she's got you off your game. Now y'all have lost context on what y'all are even arguing about at this point in time. Y'all are supposed to be discussing something completely different. But now you're just sitting here talking about Kamala's name instead of just actually debating on something that's actually important, something that's really relevant. Y'all supposed to be talking about the country, but instead y'all hung up on names and racism and discrimination and history and all this stuff. All this stuff is irrelevant. And also, when I look at the doctor's face when he's out here spewing these words, it doesn't look like his emotion is there in his face as it matches the words. It almost feels like he's just, you know, retorting things that he knows he's supposed to say because he has an audience offset off of CNN that he needs to cater to. It really reeks of some Dr. Umar here. This is why I mentioned this earlier, because that's what it sounds like. It just feels like a bunch of word vomit. Now, the main reason I said it didn't feel like his heart was really in that speech that he was giving in that argument, that when he was going back and forth with Nancy Mace, is because of this next text exchange where you're starting to see where the thirst was coming out and this man was foaming out of his mouth to try to get some of them cheeks. Yes. It was written down in text message, apparently, that he was really wanting that butt.
Taking a photo with her, okay? This is them. Now, after taking the photo with her, he basically got in the inbox and he gonna say, shh, don't tell anybody, we look good together. Ha 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 ha, that's her, right? Well, your gorgeousness makes the photo, so there's that. Now,
I personally don't know of anyone who would send any of these text messages or these emojis, especially the emojis, if you weren't trying to get a sneak peek at least some of that body. If you weren't trying to get a little piece of that ass, if you weren't trying to smash, if you weren't trying to get her in bed, if you weren't trying to get her all up in the back of your ride and try to do some foul things to her, I don't know why you send these emojis. I really don't. I don't know anybody. Who are you sending kissy emojis to? Like, aren't you married? I know he's married. Why are you sending kissy emojis? It's kissy emoji. Why are you sending this to this random white woman? And hell, any woman. What are you doing, bruh? This is absolutely I'm thirsty 101 right here. This is coming from Thirst Trap class. I mean, this is exactly where this comes from. This reeks of I need water. Sprite isn't enough to quench my thirst. I don't know if Gatorade is going to cut it. Electrolytes, Pedialyte, nothing is going to get it done. I need them cheeks. At least send me some photos. So obviously the next stage in this was that Nancy Mace decided she was going to show up to that court hearing and expose the doctor in front of everyone in Congress, letting them know that the doc is thirsty. The doc is thirstier than a passport bro that's stuck in a third world country looking for some punani. So yeah, that man immediately had to go into recovery mode and start salvaging whatever was left of his image at this point in time, because this was not a good look. You know, when it comes to image, he's all about making sure he keeps it up, and this was going to be very damning, to say the least. But I will warn you, these defenses are cringy.
Exploit the situation. This is the text exchange. I sent her, Abby Phillip, the host of the show, suggested we take pictures. I said, let's take a picture. She said, Abby said, when you post it, then tag me too, and then we'll have fun, because the whole point was...
As you can see here, the doc is a tad bit jittery here, and I actually have this sped up, so he's a little bit faster in the jitterness. So if it's slowed down, it would sound even worse. And that's the thing is, this is a guy who does not fumble his words. I'm telling you, the walking thesaurus does not fumble his words. If he was playing football, he would definitely play running back, because this dude does not cough up the rock. He does not fumble anything.
Two bipolar opposites. Michael Eric Dyson on one side, Nancy Mace on the other. So I sent her and she said, great pick. And I said, shh, don't tell anybody, we look good together, with a laughing face and a kissy face. And my point was, shh, don't tell anybody, because we are bipolar opposites.
And my point is, why are you sending this message at all? Why are you sending this text message? Go ahead, exchange the photo, say thank you, move along, have a nice day. That's all it had to be. None of this would have happened, but you had to add the extra.
You're on one side of the spectrum and I'm on the other side of the spectrum. And she said, ha, 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 ha. And I said, well, your gorgeousness makes the photo, so there's that. And a little smiley face. Again, I'm just saying that trying to be nice to her in the belief and the effort that if I'm nice to her and I prove that we don't have any bitter consequences from our fracas on television, that we can be relatively kind to each other, and I'm being nice to her. There's no hitting on you. I said, by the way, I've spoken twice at the Citadel.
Why did you send that kissy emoji, Doc? I gotta know that if I'm trying to believe your story here. If there's no hitting on, there's no flirtation here, why did you send the kissy emoji? That is the flirt emoji. It's the same thing, homie. And no, there's no way you're gonna old your way out of this and act like, well, I'm a little bit outdated with technology and words and etc. and what they mean. No. You are way too smart and you are way too intelligent to get by with this weak of a defense. I know you're not this stupid, Doc. You can't play me like this. I read your books.
She said, oh, that's awesome, and sent 3 American flags, and I hit the exclamation point. She put a heart on the well, your gorgeousness makes the photo, so there's that. Then she removed the heart two days later because she knew she was up to some mayhem. I ain't trying to hit on this woman.
She played you, Doc. She caught you with your pants down. She had a great deck of cards and she had an extremely good poker face and you had no idea. You thought you had the upper hand, but you did not. She did the walk away Tiger Woods fadeaway putt. She did the Steph Curry look away 3-pointer running off with the game winner. She hit the Barry Bonds bomb over the right field wall for the game-winning home run. Walk off and touch the home plate. She got you, boss.
Let's address this recent exchange you had with Congresswoman Nancy Mace when you were debating, or you're clashing over her repeated mispronunciation of the vice president's name.
Right.
I think we have the clip. So because we live in the crazy year of 2024, she then later accused you of sending her flirty text, which she entered into the congressional record. Can you clear this up for us, Professor?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, it's great to be here with you wonderful women.
Yes.
The thing is that, let's look at a little background. I'm a preacher.
And what the hell is that supposed to mean? That ain't no defense. There's all sorts of preachers out there frauding and scamming their congregations right now.
So I know sin, my own and others, right? Nobody's perfect. I saw Whoopi yesterday talk about the fact in regard to Janet Jackson, people make mistakes and we have to acknowledge that. Number two, as a professor.
Did you see that look on Whoopi's face? Whoopi's like, I can smell the bullshit coming from this man 10 floors below here. Like, there's no way he's actually trying to sit here and lie to us like this. We all make mistakes. This ain't a mistake. This is a very simple one. Don't press send. Herman Edwards gave this great advice on ESPN years ago and to his football team when he was the coach of the Jets. Do not press send. And you know when he said that? Like 20 years ago, homie.
I've seen things evolve over space and time. What you could say 20 years ago, can't say today. No. Not because you're certainly wrong, but the temper of the times has changed. Right. So if you acknowledge a woman's beauty that is a power imbalance, there's a problem there. But peer to peer, a different story. Still cautious, but different. And then thirdly, let's look at the politics. We're living in a toxic culture where there's a cancel culture gotcha.
See, Doc, this is why you can't fool me. If you are smart enough and you are aware enough to know that this is the climate and the culture that we are already in, why did you do it? Why?
We're not trying to elevate, we're trying to eviscerate. So when it comes to Nancy Mace, you see I tried to be nice to the woman. I said, you're a wonderful woman. I lied. I then said, but I tried to be nice to her. And then even when I pointed out to her what the repetition of the misnaming of Kamala Harris would do, she got defensive. Oh, you're calling me a racist. No.
And you never did. I
never did.
Yeah.
I think Shakespeare said the lady doth protest too much. Yeah. Or in the hood, we say a hit dog will holler. Yeah. So the point is that this woman has now depended upon, like her inspiration, Donald Trump, a racist trope. The black brute seeks the innocent white woman, now I'm seeking lasciviously to approach her. I didn't call her names. I acknowledge her humanity. And I'll say one final thing to all of these white Christians, and she's one of them.
Now, I'm pausing because I'm pretty sure I have to due to copyright reasons. But other than that, this man is about to start spitting. And I want you to pay very close attention to see if he actually addresses anything that they asked him at the beginning, which is, can you really explain why you sent this text message? What was going on during this exchange? He ain't really said a whole lot when it came to this exchange. And you'll see what I'm talking about after this, because just listen.
The Bible says, if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and turn their face to God and turn away from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven, and then I will forgive their sins and I will heal the land. They have not forgiven themselves. White Christians hate themselves for the past wrongs that have been done, and I'm here as a loving Christian to say, let's grapple with that past, acknowledge the historic legacy of supremacy, don't deny it, don't erase it, don't eviscerate it, don't remove it from the history books, confront it, and then when you forgive yourselves, we can go forward. I am a human being. Have I made mistakes? Absolutely. Have I said the wrong thing to people that I wish I could take back? Absolutely. But I am a child of God, and that means I don't have to be perfect to be useful, and I don't have to be unflawed to shine bright.
All right, then.
The only thing I hear here is a man admitting to the fact that he effed up. A man shot his shot and he bricked the hell out of it. He shot this thing completely over the goal. Wasn't close. Effed up, and he did not get the results that he was looking for out of this situation. Now, maybe it's just me, but sometimes I honestly get really tired of just hearing people talk about, well, I'm a child of God and I messed up and I'm full of sin and I sinned and I screwed up and I apologize. And the bottom line is we all sin and we all screw up. But I mean, sometimes these mistakes that we make, aren't they pretty avoidable? I thought this was a pretty easy one to not F up. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is one that you can easily not have done. Like, I don't know. When I look up there and I'm thinking, God, I screwed up. He's probably looking down on me saying, I'm having a hard time. Forgive me for this one, homie. Now I will, because I'm God. But the bottom line is, this was a silly one. Like, you didn't have to do that. And you're not fooling me. Now, this next clip is his quote unquote love letter to black women. Now, I'm not sure if he did this after the first or the second apology, but either way, he posted this out there and it just reeked of more desperation. Just this type of way to pander to the women, to make them cater back and get back on his side, which, look, I understand. If you're in a crisis control and you got to get your PR team out there and fix this situation, he's doing everything you need to do to try to rebuild your image. But when people start doing this stuff and people done caught on to this stuff, I done seen enough bad, terrible, horrible, disingenuous YouTube apologies this year that, look, bottom line is, most people just do not believe these apologies, especially when the mistakes that were made were so trivial.
Just a love note for black women this morning, for little girls, for aunties, for grandmothers, for wives, for partners, for lovers, for teachers, ditch diggers, engineers, around the way girls, to presidential candidates. We black men who have too often failed you, who have too often not said the right thing at the right time, who have been vulnerable to the claim that we have forgotten what you have done for us, the magnificence of your service to our people, the beauty and power of your spirit at times when we flagged. We remember all the remarkable things you have done and beg your forgiveness for us not standing up for you when times were tough or when no one else was in the room to defend you, to assert the legitimacy and validity of your personhood. Please forgive us.
Okay. I'm not gonna force you to watch that whole thing. He goes on doing this for like another 3.5, 4, 5 minutes, and there's no need to watch all the rest of it. It's just the same as the beginning. It's a bunch of pandering and it's a bunch of, ass kissing. Which look. It's not saying that black women don't deserve this, but at this point in time, it almost feels insulting because we all know the history. I mean, most of us have read a history book or two. Now, if you're Gen Z or Gen A, maybe not, but the rest of us, yeah, we already know this, and we kind of already know this stuff. You ain't gotta pander to them anymore. At this point in time, it's almost insulting, and especially considering what you have already been accused of doing. After all this nonsense, it really comes off as, well, you're pissing on them. Like, that's what it really comes off as. Like, it sounds like you're really giving these women a good old golden shower, and it has a whole lot of onions in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, this stings. It burns. This isn't a really good one, and I don't think they're really buying it, Doc. I'm not buying it, so I'm pretty sure the black women aren't either. Black women are some of the most intelligent people that you would possibly find out there in the world. Some of the most savvy individuals, and they can smell BS from, light years away. And I'm telling you, this reeks of it. Now, there's this one YouTuber. Her name is The Authentic Observer. I've watched quite a few of her videos. Great YouTuber, does some amazing deep dives. And look, bottom line is I listen to a ton of different YouTubers. I get a lot of different perspectives. I get them from men, from women, black, white, Asian, Hispanic. It doesn't matter which race, gender, ethnicity, whatever you want to go by. I'm willing to listen to you if you put out good content, or if you put up something interesting, something for me to learn, because I really do want to get a lot of different perspectives out there so I can see things through other people's lenses. Now, she had this video and it was talking about nice guys, and nice guys from, well, the left, the blues, the left, different from the conservative rights. And she does not lean right at all. But she did say if she had to pick a particular type of guy, she would prefer to deal with the douchey conservative guy than to deal with the overly pandering leftist blue guy, because those people are the scariest. Because at least with one side, you already know they're dicks. So you would rather them be honest and upfront with you with their expectations and who they are, as opposed to the other side that is going to pander to you and kiss your butt and tell you all these nice things and really butter you up and make you feel really good about yourself, when really they're just insecure about the fact that you might leave. They don't want you to ever look at any other men. They don't want you to talk to anybody else. They want you to really be their dying loyalty, like Myron would talk about, just like the people from the other side. The only difference is these people are a lot more highly emotional because they come off as nice, but they're really not as nice as you would think. They just come off that way so they can creepily get inside those panties. And that's really what their goal is at the end of the day. Now, I'm not going to say that's what Dr. Michael Eric Dyson is, because honestly, I think he's overall a good person who probably, just had a slip up here. Now, it's not really a slip up in my opinion, but he definitely one of those cheeks. But the bottom line is, hey, he didn't get him. But he did do what he did, and I don't think he's a bad guy for doing it. But this coming out here and caping up for, all the women and whatnot, and this extra defense, once you started making basically 3 apologies, you done made 3 apologies too many. Make it 1. My thing is, once you apologize once and move on. There's nothing else that needs to be said here. If they don't believe you, they don't believe you. They don't need to keep coming out here and just, quadrupling down, quintupling down. Look, man, at that point in time, I'm starting to believe you don't believe it. So that's why, and when people come out on these apology tours and they keep going around and around and around saying, I'm sorry, they're capping. They're lying, because quite frankly, if you really mean what you said, you just say it and you move on, and you just have to accept the consequences of life. That's just the way it is. Hopefully some of that made sense, but yeah, either way, I got to wrap up this video. Hopefully you liked it. Like, share, and subscribe. Hit the button, hit the bell. We're still growing. Got to get to that 3K here soon, guys. Please, let's do it. Late birthday present, hey, let's get there. But either way, have a nice day, and I'll see you soon.